Many of us keep asking Allah for change, for relief, for a new chapter in life. But we forget sometimes that change begins in the simplest of moments. What if I told you it could start tomorrow morning? Before the sun rises, before the world knows you're awake, in those first few breaths, the way you remember Allah could be the reason He opens the doors you've been knocking on for so long. Stay with me, because how you begin your morning can shape your entire day and perhaps your entire life. Waking up is Allah saying, I'm not done with you yet. Every morning you open your eyes is not just a routine, not just another square on the calendar. It is Allah saying to you in the quiet language only your soul understands, I am not done with you yet. Last night, when you placed your head on the pillow, you were in a state the Quran describes as a form of death. Your soul was taken and it could have been kept. And yet, Allah chose to send it back. Not because He needed you, but because there is still something written for you to do. Something only you can do. Maybe it's a kindness you still have to show. Maybe it's a dua you still have to make. Maybe it's a moment of forgiveness you still need to give. Or a prayer that will finally turn your life around. It could be that today is the day you take one small step that changes your entire akhirah. Think about it. How many people did not see this morning? Some of them were healthy yesterday. They laughed. They planned. They thought they had years ahead of them. They set their alarms for today, but the alarm rang into an empty room. Their names were not called to rise again. And yet, here you are. Your name was passed over when others did not wake. Your heart is still beating. Your lungs are still filling with air. Your soul has been returned to your body by the permission of the one who owns it. Doesn't that mean something? How can the first thing that touches your heart be anything other than gratitude? Before you remember the pain of yesterday, remember the mercy of today. Before you think of the people who hurt you, think of the Lord who kept you. Before you let the world enter your morning, let Allah enter your heart. Don't rush to your phone. Don't let your first act be scrolling through what the world wants to show you. Let your first words be what the angels will record in gold. Whisper Alhamdulillah with the weight of someone who knows this could have been the morning they never saw. Because one day, it will be, one day, your eyes will not open here. One day, the morning light you see will not be from this world. And every morning until then is a mercy. It is a chance. It is Allah giving you time to prepare for that final morning, the one that begins in the next life. So when you wake like someone who knows this day was written, not owed. Wake like someone who understands that life is not promised, it is gifted. And begin with the name of the one who gave it. Begin with words that angels write in gold. When you wake up, the very first sound that leaves your lips is not just a sound. It is the first line that will be written in your book for that day. Your angels are there present, ready, pen in hand. They don't write in ink. They write in something more permanent than stone. They write in what Allah has decreed to remain until the day of judgment. And you have a choice. The first thing you say could be the name of Allah, or it could be the name of a person, the name of a problem, the sigh of stress, the groan of frustration. Do you realize what it means when the first word your angels write in your book is Alhamdulillah? It means your day begins wrapped in gratitude. It means the very first thing heaven hears from you is a thank you to the one who allowed you to live another sunrise. It means the first thing shaitan hears from you is a word that burns him, because gratitude is the door to mercy, and mercy is the door he can't walk through. The Prophet ﷺ taught us a beautiful dua to say upon waking. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi nushur. All praise is for Allah, who gave us life after causing us to die. And to Him is the return. These are not small words. They are words that acknowledge your life is not your own. Your soul belongs to Him. Your breath belongs to Him. And every morning He chooses to give them back is another proof of His mercy. Think of it like this. When you wake without remembering Allah, it's like walking out into the battlefield without armor. You are stepping into a day where challenges, whispers, temptations, and trials are waiting for you, and you walk into it with no shield. But when the first thing you say is His name, you are already wearing protection before you even leave your bed. And the angels, they record. They are witnesses. They will stand before Allah on the day of judgment and say, Ya Rab, this servant of yours on this morning, the first thing they said was Alhamdulillah. And Allah, in His mercy, may forgive a lifetime of mistakes for moments like that. Do you know how powerful it is to be remembered by the angels before the world even knows you are awake? You haven't checked your phone yet. You haven't looked at the time. You haven't remembered the person who hurt you yesterday. And yet, your name has already been raised to the heavens, carried by angels, wrapped in gratitude, delivered to the Lord of the worlds. Every morning is like the opening of a new chapter. If you write Bismillah on the first page, the story of that day changes. If you begin with Alhamdulillah, you are already planting seeds for barakah to grow in every hour that follows. Sometimes people say, but I don't feel grateful in the morning. That's okay. Gratitude is not only a feeling, it is a choice. Even on the days you feel broken, tired, or empty, saying Alhamdulillah is telling your heart, I trust Allah more than I trust my emotions right now. And the amazing thing, the more you say it, the more you start to feel it. Remember, mornings are when shaitan tries to claim you early. If he can take your first words, your first thoughts, your first focus, he can pull your whole day towards distraction. But if you give those first moments to Allah, shaitan begins the day already losing. So when your eyes open, pause. Don't rush. Don't let the noise in yet. Let your first breath carry His name. Let your first sentence be one the angels will be honored to write. Let your first words be gold on your record. And if you think it's too small to matter, remember this. The day of judgment is built on moments you thought were small. One smile, one tear, one quiet Alhamdulillah when no one else heard it but Allah. Your first words in the morning can be the difference between a day that feels heavy and a day that feels protected. They can be the reason Allah opens a door for you later in the day without you even knowing why. They can be the seed for a dua being answered, a burden being lifted, a heart being healed. The angels are ready tomorrow morning. What will you give them to write? Fajr is not a prayer. It's a meeting. When you hear the adhan for Fajr, do you know what is really happening? It is not just a call to prayer. It is a personal invitation from the King of Kings, the one who has no need for you, but still calls you by name every single morning. Fajr is not just an obligation to tick off before going back to sleep. It is a meeting, a one-on-one audience with Allah. At a time when the world is still quiet, when hearts are softer, when distractions have not yet taken hold. It is the purest moment of the day because it is untouched by noise. Think about it. At that hour, most of the world is asleep. The streets are empty. Phones are silent. The air feels different, cooler, cleaner, almost sacred. And in that stillness, you have a chance to stand before Allah without anyone watching, without anyone interrupting. When you answer that call, you are showing Allah that He matters more than your sleep, more than your comfort, more than the warmth of your blanket. And when you make that choice, Allah honors you in ways you cannot imagine. The Prophet ﷺ told us, "O Allah, bless my nation in their early mornings." There is a blessing that only exists in the hours after Fajr, a blessing you cannot find at any other time of day. It is a barakah that seeps into your health, your provision, your time, your heart. You see, Fajr is not only about praying, it is about meeting. Meeting the one who has been watching you sleep. Meeting the one who kept your heart beating through the night. Meeting the one who wrote for you to wake up again when others didn't. When you stand in prayer at Fajr, the world is dark, but your heart is lit. Your feet are on the ground, but your soul is in the heavens. You whisper Allahu Akbar and you are declaring at the very start of your day that Allah is greater than everything you will face today. And do you know why this meeting is so powerful? Because it is private. There are no crowds, no applause, no one to notice except the one who matters. And it is in those private moments that sincerity is born. You might not always feel awake. Your eyes might feel heavy. Your body might resist. But every time you push through that and stand for Fajr, you are proving to yourself and to Allah that your soul commands your body, not the other way around. And here's something beautiful. The angels witness the Fajr prayer. The Quran says, indeed, the recitation of the Quran at Fajr is ever witnessed. Imagine your voice, even if it's a whisper being heard in the heavens, recorded by noble scribes, remembered in a realm beyond this world. When you pray Fajr, you're not just fulfilling an obligation. You're starting your day with a conversation that sets the tone for every conversation after it. You are telling Allah your worries before you tell anyone else. You are asking Him for strength before the tests even arrive. You are thanking Him before you've even seen what the day holds. And something happens on the days you meet Allah at Fajr. There is a calm that follows you. It might not make sense. You might still have challenges. But there is a quiet strength in your chest, a stillness in your heart, a feeling that
Why did the Prophet structure his entire life around them, and what changes when someone actually begins to participate in these hours instead of sleeping through them? In this video, we'll examine these questions. We'll look at what happens spiritually, what science shows us about our bodies, and what the practical results are for someone who commits to this practice. Night is ending, day is beginning. Between them is a threshold. This threshold is not arbitrary. Something specific happens at this moment. The night does not gradually fade into day. There is a point where night stops and day begins. In the Islamic tradition, this hour is understood as a moment of reset. The day begins fresh. The night's cycle ends completely. But this reset is not only about time passing. Multiple things align at this exact moment. The Prophet ﷺ taught that during the last third of the night, Allah Ta'ala descends to the lowest heaven. In a hadith recorded in Sahih Bukhari, He described what happens during those hours. Allah calls out, is there anyone making dua to me? Is there anyone asking from me? Is there anyone seeking forgiveness from me? This is not metaphorical language. Islamic scholars understood this as a literal reality. During specific hours, Allah extends an invitation to His servants. At Fajr, another significant event occurs. The distribution of provision for the entire day begins. Islamic scholars explained that rizq, sustenance and opportunity is allocated at this time. What you will earn, what you will encounter, what doors will open, this distribution happens at Fajr. Additionally, the angels experience a shift. The angels of the night who have been with you through the darkness begin their ascent. The angels of the day descend to take their place. During Fajr, these two groups meet. The hadith describes this moment clearly. The night angels report to Allah about how they left His servants. Your body also resets at this time. The circadian rhythm, your biological clock, reaches a turning point. Cortisol levels begin rising. Your body prepares itself for the day ahead. This is not learned behavior. It is built into your biology. So at the moment of Fajr, something unprecedented happens. The spiritual world shifts. The biological world resets. The cosmic order transitions, and the entire day begins to unfold. Most people sleep through it. While you sleep, everything about your day is being decided without you. During the last third of the night, something specific is offered to the servants of Allah, an invitation. The Prophet ﷺ described this in clear terms. He said that Allah descends to the lowest heaven and calls out. The exact words are recorded in the hadith. Is there anyone calling upon me that I may answer him? Is there anyone asking from me that I may give to him? Is there anyone seeking forgiveness from me that I may forgive him? This invitation is extended every single night.